Hey, welcome to Wednesday morning prayer and the Daily Office Digest. We are in week of Passion, or Lent 5, fifth Sunday in Lent. And we've got Old Testament reading from Exodus, dealing with the coming to Pharaoh. And they're asked, Aaron and Moses come to Pharaoh, and they ask that he allow the children of Israel 3 days, notice 3 days, go into the desert, the wilderness, to sacrifice to the Lord our God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. We need to worship God. We need to make sure we are in good standing with God. He has not been worshipped by us. Please let us do this, or else you'll also get in the crossfire. That sort of argument. Pharaoh, of course, rejects them. He's like, get you on with your burdens. I kind of, you think about, get back to work. There are lots of people in this land, Pharaoh complains, of your people. And you would make them rest from their burdens. Think rest, think Sabbath. To enjoy the Lord and Sabbath rest. And then that same day, he's ornery, and he sends the taskmasters to the people and tells them to make bricks without straw. Right, make it harder, make it more difficult to make the bricks that they were making before, make their labors harder, come down harder on them, and tell them, it's basically telling them, it's doing this because you asked to go worship God. I'm punishing you because you want to worship Yahweh. You want to worship the great I Am, the God of all gods. Now the people are mad at Moses and Aaron. It's worse than we were before. This is actually going to become a major trope for them and a habit. They will put blame on Moses or Aaron or both. They'll complain, oh, we were back, it was better when we were there before. Our first state was better than where we are now. Back then, at least, we had cucumbers in the flesh pots. That's going to become a thing. This starts showing up now. They were treating us harshly, but at least we had straw for our bricks. Just kind of, you've been so low that, and you're brought down just a few steps lower. Your eyes are lowered to that, and you just want to be comfortable. You don't have an eternal perspective. You don't look towards this, even though it involves suffering, the redemption that will come. And then, of course, Moses is freaked out, and he goes to the Lord, and the Lord just says, look what I'm going to see. For with a strong hand he'll let them go. I'm going to treat Pharaoh and his land a certain way that he's going to send you out, and he's going to really get you out of the land in a hurry. And that's what does happen, but we have to wait for that. But Moses needs to be reassured of the Lord's faithfulness there, and he gets reassured. It is difficult, when you take on leadership and doing the right thing, even if it's not leadership of a group, although that's what Moses is doing. Even if it's just yourself trying to be faithful, you kind of have these moments of crisis and you freak out to God. And God will be faithful to the promises he's made. Now, don't make him make promises that he hasn't made, but to the promises he's made, he is faithful to them, and we need to be like Moses, accept that, and look to who and what he is, the great I Am. In Corinthians, this is a great little section about time, looking at the resurrection as grain, right? The seed dies, but then brings forth greater fruitfulness. So you have to die and bring forth new life. The Son of God died and came up and brought new life and greater fruitfulness. Even a whole church, a great harvest, as the parables would say. It's you have a state now. You're in a certain state now, in terms of your existence, and then there's going to be an exalted one at the resurrection. It's going to be better than what it is now, a heavenly sort of thing. We understand somewhat of what it's going to be like because of our current existence. We're going to be incarnate, we'll have a body and a soul, but it will be perfected and brought to where it's supposed to be without sin, and that's something to really rejoice in. Rejoice in the kind of body will have a glorified body. Often it's good to look at what Jesus' body is like after the resurrection to get a better understanding of that. But we get a little bit of it in this little reading. So I'll leave you with that today, just thinking of the glories of the resurrected body and also the sure promises of God. And actually, this glorified resurrected body is one of the promises He has toward us. So when you think about God making good on His promises, our restoration in body and soul when Jesus has His second advent is one of the things we can really look to with great confidence. You can't look, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring or even what the rest of this day is going to bring, but you can look at God will, on His timeline, He's going to make good His promise, and that should give a good foundation for your life today and every moment and all the days afterward. So I'll talk to you later this evening.